Okay, back on with my oscilloscope here. It's the famous, I don't have my reading glasses on here. But anyways, let me get this screwdriver here. If I take this fine it does very little. And I'm constantly putting blame on this thing. Constantly putting blame on this. So instead of acting on it, I just keep mentioning it. So anyways, it's supposed to be at 2,000. So I'm going to take these no, that just jumped down. I'm going to take these get rid of this stupid thing. I'm going to look at the schematic again, and I'm going to put the two 1Ks together, and, well, actually it's two. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't gain much. I already got a 1K and a 1K. I thought I had a big brainstorm idea there. But anyways, besides that, I figured this. I need my reading glasses on. I got everything hooked up to this right now. That's my common ground. Okay, this Q5. I had signal here at the base, no signal at the collector, which was verified. Then I'm thinking about it, you know, this voltage adjustment stuff. My emitters are probably sitting high. If this voltage adjust ain't right, and I'm thinking, you know, all this, I don't understand this voltage regulator crap that's going on here. But all I know is I got signal to there. Is it there? Q5, whatever, wherever, this one. And all of a sudden I don't have it there. Emitters are sitting high. I got this negative 9 volts here. I didn't measure that. I know the 9 volts positive is about 8.5 volts. Got this voltage regulator. I put that black capacitor in there where I was supposed to adjust this voltage adjust wherever it's at. 100 volts adjust so that I get 9 volts at this positive of the capacitor. Was in one step, then a step or two later, then it's having me adjust that again to get 100 volts, I think, at Q9. Then after that, then you have to adjust the, where the heck is it, the balance, which is way over here, to balance the voltage on this collector to ground and this collector to ground. Keep going back and forth with your meter to ground and equalize those, you know, get them close together, which I can't do that. I'm still blaming this. But there's only 2 to each one, so if I got 1,000 ohm and 1,000 ohm, I'm basically center. I think I'm basically adjusted in the center, 12 o'clock, and this does very little to the vertical height. Whatever it's called. What's it called? Vertical positioning. So I'm kind of like going to give up on this thing for a while. And here, this transistor's no good. But this is a different scenario. I got signal there and no signal there. But this is a different scenario because we have no adjustments prior to that. It's just like a delay. This stack is like a delay or something. I don't know what's happening there, but it barely even amplifies anything. But my horizontal oscillator's functioning. You know, I can change the frequencies, and but it does run a little wild, I guess, because this ain't triggering it. And I sat there and thought, what the heck was that one for? And that's for the blanking. That hooks up to grid number 1 of the CRT to shut it off for the retrace, I guess. So really I'm kind of in a blur at this time. And I have an airplane to get working on. I have a Zenith TV. But anyways, so I have this. If I switch hands and go like this, I got, okay, what I did, I had to get in here and readjust my 100 volts adjust, and then I got my deflection back. And so it's going to wander. Here's frequency way over here. It looks like a ink pen spring turning around, which is interesting. So I think if that one transistor was replaced, it would benefit stabilization anyways. But see, I can switch this. The horizontal oscillator is definitely working, we know that. I call it horizontal oscillator because I'm familiar with TVs. As a matter of fact, I have to get on a Zenith TV of mine. It just lost its vertical collapse on it. And this is working, so what did I just do? I can't read none of this stuff. X100, X10. So that's X10, X100. Where's my... I can put her up a little bit there, but yeah, okay. That's a little too much. Pull back. So, what it is, I don't know what this is here. So it looks like I got collapse. That's collapsed at the right side. So it still could be something to do with these transistors. I wanted to get a focus. Let me see, get my focuses all the way to the right. Put my focus to 12 o'clock. It really blurs. I got to switch this to ground and switch this to exit. And I wanted to move this transformer. Make a good paperweight. I wanted to get at this pot back here. That's to get a circle here, which if I put the focus all the way to the right, I can get a circle, but you should have to have your focus at 12 o'clock and get a circle. So I'll just leave that there. That's the best. And obviously the focus will have to go all the way to the right. I checked the picture tube or the CRT. It tests weak, but I don't know how to really test it with my tester because I have no reference sheets to go by or nothing. But it doesn't show any heater to cathode leakage that would affect my intensity. I have no... Let me go back here to someplace here, right there. I have no real intensity, and I think this is intensity, I think, is involved in the cathode of the CRT. The blanking amp is hooked up to control grid number 1. Focus, I think, has to do with grid number 2 and 4, I think. I'm not sure, I'm just guessing. I'll stabilize this. So I'm really at a standpoint here. And I'm not even sure if I put the real proper horizontal drivers in there. These things have brass wires. That's why I put these copper extensions on, because they were ready to break. If I hook this octopus up to it, they look differently on the oscilloscope. But so that's all I can do with this thing at this time. Obviously, this transistor turned out to be good. After I adjusted that 100 volts adjust again. After changing the biasing of this transistor through these two transistors, I'm going to call it push-pull balancing act here. So when I adjusted the 100 volts adjust, it made a difference on these emitters. I see no reference to these asterisks. I did test this and I did get a -7 point something. It was within respect as far as I know. I think there were the -8.4. I don't think I test that. But when you got adjustments, I don't see those numbers can be really true, maybe. So that's why these are asterisks, I suppose. But I don't even have an approximation what they should be. Asterisk, and there are those 3 points. So I have no clue what they should measure. I gotta lift this out and make sure it's 1,000 ohms. It's measuring like 300 something. I think this was within its 10%. That was 50 some ohms, real close to 56. There's 470. I think it was pretty close. I think so. I'll pause out here. Back on here. And back to these horizontal drivers here. If I hook up to my emitter, I think. I got this one in my way. On this one here, if I hook up to my emitter on this one, this is the good one. That's. And now if I go to a collector, right? Let me see this thing, yeah. Emitter, no, collector's on the right. The center one's the base. So, okay, so now I'm hooked up to the center one's the base, the left one's the emitter. No, this was on the bottom driver. The wire I'm using is too heavy. I use the wire that comes with these breadboards, and I solder these things on, and they break off like crazy. So I'm using these ones I bought. So now if I hook up to this one, to my emitter, now both of these transistors are the same number, 417 830p. So this was the top one, I have a T on it, and this is the bottom one. So now I'm hooked up to base and emitter, and I get this tailspin thing. Now if I go to the collector, I get the normal shape. Back to emitter, I get that. So, and this is the transistor that tests weak in one transistor tester, and that one other test is way different. So I put these in the horizontal driver. I have an old floppy 3.5-inch floppy disk from probably the mid 2000s, and it's like SK cross reference, so I was able to come up with this from the heathkit catalog, that number. And that's one transistor I put in, and the other one I put in this one, 3201 3201. So they seem to be working. I get the horizontal. See, before on that oscilloscope I got very narrow horizontal, but I knew vertical was working because it was going up and down when I would touch the input and stuff. It was going up and down until I got involved in the vertical settings and stuff. Then I screwed it up. But anyway, so that tail piece must mean it's defective. It's kind of, I had some diodes around here. Where the heck were they? Here, this thing, these things I just found again. These things here, I think are Zener diodes. I got this thing, that's a signal diode. I don't know what these things are. But if I go, okay, read this, I gotta flick my fingers, they lock up. Get these out of the way. I got way heavy wire to be doing this because my other lead just broke. So if I hook up to a known good rectifier, I get the L shape. Now I used to have a diode sitting in here that gave me a unique shape. It was these kind of diodes. So I think they're kind of like a Zener diode. Okay, so I'm hooked up to this diode wherever it is. Where is it? That diode right there. And I get that. And I have some Zener diodes from building transistor projects a long time ago. And I didn't take any out yet. So these diodes kind of do that. This is a, I think, just a regular radio diode, I'll call it, 914, or the what is the 1N60 or something. That is showing me open circuit. No deflection is. This is short circuit, open circuit. So this diode is no good. So I'll paint it with magic marker, because what I do with this kind of stuff, I will use them when I'm clearing holes in a circuit board. I will shove them through and twist them really fast so the solder can't harden to it, and then it clears my hole. That's why I have these old resistors here. They're out of specs, but I use them cleaning. Especially dirty ones work the best for cleaning holes in circuit boards. So I keep those for that. This is an open diode. So I'm just using, I just have this plugged into here. I'm using the blue wires. I was going to hook the red up because they're 24 volts. This is 6.3, the 47K resistor bit. It's a simple thing, but I have to build it on one of these wire connector things, so it's true and sound. Pause and out. So back on here, here's my Zenith TV here. I put, I have this marked for hot. Hot, neutral. So here's what I get. I checked this, what is it, a 17 JZ8. Where am I? Oh, this is what I get. Before it was just a straight line. So the 17JZ8 is right there. I recapped it somewhat. Here's what I did. All these maroon capacitors I put in. So here's the 17JZ8, the vertical oscillator and output. This thing's out of focus. I had to make this little coupling thing. It's my concern are these real cheap Chinese capacitors I put in here. This one I never changed. I put a really old 1970s .0033 in there. It worked the best. It's supposed to be a film capacitor. I don't know why this is out of focus. I got that circle again. I don't know what that does. All I know is it screws up my focusing when the circle comes up on me. So I got a .022. I think it's like 500 or some picofarads, 470 or something, 100K. I had to make that little thing for it. So whatever, it's not functioning again, so I'll have to get my capacitor checker. I can just pop each side off of this real easy and check each one. This one here is comes from the video amplifier to the cathode of the picture tube, so I'm not worried about that. But that, I think that's one of my better quality capacitors that came from tubesandmore.com. These are right from China, and they don't even have a nice finish on them. This is an old orange drop. These are guaranteed for a couple of lifetimes. I never did no work to the horizontal section, I don't think. Here's one of those couplers right here that I had to make, only in the vertical, which is this stuff right here. So I have to work on the Zenith and work on my airplane. I have to get my airplane built up. Summer's coming. So we'll leave it at that, I guess. So my oscilloscope is going to go I want to get this one working, that oldie. It works, it's just jittery horizontally, so there's some electrolytics that have to be replaced yet that are in the vertical section of the amplification or whatever. But then back to this one here. These were those two drivers that are, well, I can't see them right now. These were the two drivers I replaced. Replacement transistors, not, or substitute transistors, not replacement, I guess. According to one guy on YouTube, there's a difference. I always thought you buy and that's it. So, I do have signal again, where the heck it was. I do have signal again at this base, but I got a balancing act thing going on and all this stuff I gotta get into and figure out and replace this someday. I'll just make notes, and that'll be it on this thing. So. Orange Beginner's Corner, April 11th of 2021, Sunday. Signing off.